1, 2. Hey. Timer. Clicker. Good morning. I'm Calle. I want to talk about financial privacy today from the perspective of human rights. And I want to start with a story. In 2012, an angry father runs into a Target supermarket, furious, demands to talk to the manager. He says, "You guys sent my teenage daughter products for pregnant women. What's going on? Do you want her to be pregnant at that age?" He's angry. The manager says, "I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on." The father goes back home, has a discussion with his family, and finds out that indeed his daughter has been pregnant all along, but wasn't ready to share the story with their family yet. But Target knew. And Target knew because of his daughter's purchasing activity, which was purchasing unscented lotion and calcium supplements. And the Target AI, so to speak, correctly predicted that she must have been pregnant and sent her coupons at home. The father goes back to the Target and apologizes with the manager. Let's step back. The Article 12 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states, "No one shall be subject to arbitrary interference with his privacy, family, home, or correspondence." So why is privacy important? Let's start with the basics. Privacy is foundational for a free society. What do I mean by that? For centuries, we protected our privacy in physical spaces with whispers, darkness, curtains, envelopes, closed doors, something that feels very natural for us. And indeed, democratic societies depend on privacy. We forget that. We all depend on a secret ballot and the privacy of your vote to ensure that elections are free and the transitions of power can be peaceful. But privacy is not just a good for itself, it's a gateway to so many other rights that we enjoy. It protects our dignity, autonomy, and ultimately democracy itself. There's a very, very drastic story, the worst story that you can find that is related to privacy, I want to tell real quick. In the Second World War, the Nazis invaded the Netherlands and were able to deport 75% of the Jewish population. The Nazis also invaded France, but there they deported only 25% of the population. What was the difference? It turns out that the Dutch government had long lists of meticulously recorded religious affiliation of their population, whereas the French did not. And indeed, they actually sabotaged the census for that reason during the war times. It led to many, many deaths. So it should be clear that a free society in the modern age must be based on digital privacy. Let's talk about cypherpunks. Cypherpunks write code. Who are the cypherpunks? There is an era we call the crypto wars, and we can call them the crypto wars 1.0 now, and you see where this is going. In the 70s, the US government decided that encryption must be handled like ammunition and banned encryption from being exported to other nations. In that time, a new guild of developers emerged called the cypherpunks, and writings like the Cypherpunk Manifesto or the Declaration of Independence of Cyberspace really manifested that movement. Whether they liked it or not, developers became activists, and their code became speech, political speech. And the most important lesson from this time is that we cannot depend on governments or corporations to protect our privacy. We must take it into our own hands by building technology. And that's what cypherpunks mean by cypherpunks write code. The crypto wars concluded ultimately with an epic ruling. Bernstein versus the Department of Justice, in which the Supreme Court ruled that code is indeed speech and that speech can be protected under the First Amendment. Although the crypto wars ended, the fight and the war for private messaging just began. In the 1990s, the FBI still wanted to put a chip into every device that encrypts communication, but with a little backdoor for the state to be able to read your messages. It's only for the good guys, right? Well, turns out the good guys aren't the good guys. 2013, Snowden leaks information revealing a vast global surveillance network. And in 2016, an epic battle between Apple and the FBI entices the population and makes them aware of what they have to lose. WhatsApp, in one of the most profound changes or developments in field of privacy, turns on end-to-end encryption for over 1 billion people. People are starting to understand. In 2020, the EU Commission recommends for their staff members to use Signal. Well, that has changed. All this is not because of technology itself. It's because of activists who've been relentlessly highlighting the need for privacy for ordinary people, and that vulnerable groups in our society suffer the most when we lose privacy. The narrative completely flipped. Privacy became best practice. So, how did we get from this to this? I want to understand this. Before we can go there, we have to talk about money. We say money is half of every transaction. What we mean by that is that money is pervasive. It is everywhere, with everything you do. Money is speech. Whether it's a donation to a human rights organization, a purchase of a political book, financial backing of a protest movement, money is your speech. And again, the US Supreme Court agrees. Spending money is speech. Money is identity. Financial transactions reveal so much about you: your political preferences, your medical conditions, your religious and social affiliations. And money is your social map. It does not only reveal your life, but the life of those who are with you. Your payments, where you go to have a coffee, where you go to therapy, who you go to cinema with. So I invite you to think about this question. What do your 10 last transactions reveal about you? They may reveal about you that you bought a coffee in Oslo, but they also reveal about you that you bought a coffee in Oslo with 1,000 other activists. So, what happens if we can't control our money? The first thing you think about is the Chinese regime. The social credit system is designed to oppress the population, and financial oppression is one of the tools of the system. Very visible in Hong Kong 2019, when the protesters needed to switch to cash to buy their train tickets to get to the protests. Many bank accounts have been frozen. They remain frozen today. But it's not only authoritarian regimes, it's also authoritarian democracies. Most famously, WikiLeaks in 2010 was blocked by Visa and PayPal for publishing collateral murder, which revealed the war crimes that the US committed. Many more examples on this list that I'm sure you're aware of. And CBDCs are the next step. I'm grateful for the HRF to do the research, and they found January 2024 that over 135 countries are currently researching or involved with CBDCs. CBDCs will enable this on a global scale. So let's talk about the current crypto wars. Crypto Wars 2.0, and here I want to highlight two stories in our ecosystem, which is Tornado Cash and Samurai Wallet. In 2022, and this is also very new, it's unprecedented, the OFAC sanctions code and the Tornado Cash developer, who's still in prison today, is punished for writing and deploying code. 2024, Samurai founders are indicted for the fact just for writing privacy-preserving software for Bitcoin. And the signal that they want to send is received clearly. It means if you write privacy code, you will face persecution. And all this happens while academic studies over and over again confirm that the vast majority of crypto transactions are totally legitimate, especially compared to fiat cash payments, by the way. So this is a push to treat every single user of privacy tools as suspicious by default. And this does not only threaten these individual projects, it threatens the very notion that we have the right for financial privacy. I want to quote the legendary Hal Finney. He says, "The computer can be used as a tool to liberate and protect people rather than to control them." So how do we do that? Now I want to get back to the messaging wars. What can we learn from them? Because they clearly succeeded. First of all, and I think this is the perfect place to talk about this, we need to reframe the discussion. We need to stop talking too much about the technicalities, but start talking more about human rights and democracy. We need to point out examples like Nigeria 2020, when feminist activists had to use Bitcoin to finance their protests, or in Belarus, where journalists' bank accounts were blocked, and the only way they could continue their work on reporting on the criminal regime was supported with crypto. We need to personalize the issue, and this is an important one. Like the Target story in the beginning. People are sensitized towards people are sensitized towards privacy in messaging. They understand slowly what it means if the NSA is looking over your shoulder. They do not understand yet what it means if so many more institutions see exactly what you're buying every day. We need more relatable stories. It is about storytelling. And my friend Alex Gladstein is probably the most OG person here that I know who has been relentlessly working on this topic, has done so much. We need to strengthen coalitions of devs because this is not purely a technical issue, with NGOs, educators, journalists pressuring policymakers and educating the public, especially pressuring policymakers. Think about chat control. And we need to advocate for tools that protect our privacy, like Bitcoin, like Lightning, like Cashew, or privacy messengers like Signal. Another quote from another hero, Phil Zimmerman, who is the inventor of PGP, email encryption. It's basically the default for email encryption. He has said, "If privacy is outlawed, only outlaws will have privacy." So I invite you to join this battle, to think about ways how we can fight together, support your local devs, and support your local educators. And I thank you for your attention.